Welcome back, Folktownies. As the ladies of Folktown have learned this season, not every Colorado legend fits into a tidy box. Tonight, we're opening the drawer where Colorado keeps its strangest secrets. The story's too weird, too wild, or too cursed to fit into our regular episodes. Keep your lanterns close and your back to the wall. Here we go.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So this is going to be our bonus episodes. So we're going to give you guys a little short form episode where we can just talk about like fun stuff that maybe
Fun facts.
Yeah, maybe doesn't fit into the regular episode, or maybe something's happening in the world and we want to talk about it.
The randos.
The junk drawer.
The not so scary.
Oh my God, I love that. Can
The
this be
junk drawer.
the junk drawer of our podcast episode?
Folktown's junk drawer?
Yeah. Because it's, the stuff that we want to talk about just doesn't quite fit in.
So what's up with the junk?
In your trunk. You tell us. You're bringing the heat.
I know. Well, it's like when we just started the first episode that we were saying, it's just I dove in and I was like, oh my God, Colorado is amazing. There's so much that happened in this state.
There's so much.
Why don't we learn about this in school? What kind of like fun facts should we be looking for here? Like the historical, like fun, most random ones? Or are we going spooky, creepy? I tried to do a little bit of both.
I think we can do everything. Because,
There's no rules.
yeah, no, this is the No Rules Just Right. This is the Outback podcast. No Rules Just Right.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Can we just talk about very quickly, when we started, before we recorded one of our episodes, I showed them all the video of the $1 Million Highway in Colorado. And that is quite possibly the most terrifying. I'm not driving on that. There's just no...
Definitely beats Buck out.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
So like to paint a picture, it's the super twisty road up on the mountains that has
The top of the mountain.
no guardrails, and it is the edge of the road is the edge of the mountain.
And there's not even like a gradient. No,
Wish and
it's
a
game
prayer.
over. It's game over.
Yeah. Like if you even like a little bit swerve, like the white line is basically the cliff.
Death.
And it's funny because I bet people from Colorado are listening there to be like, oh my God, I do 80 on that road.
Yeah.
My butthole was
my God.
puckering watching a TikTok of this.
No, thank you.
It was kind of terrifying.
Okay, so who wants to go first? I know you both have fun things to tell me. Who wants to go?
I mean, mine's like kind of boring and like it feels like a history lesson.
It's
But
cute.
It is something that Colorado is proud of.
Yeah, but you know what's really funny is while I investigated this a little bit, I found out that it's not really Colorado's history.
Oh, God.
So
Well,
like that's where this spin is.
Let's keep going.
Right?
Give
so
it to
like
us.
that's why it didn't really fit into the episode, not only because it's not scary, it's actually really sweet and endearing, but
don't
also
like any of that crap.
but also it's not really Colorado's.
There's actually nothing true about what she's going to say.
Dale's like, I've got a lie to tell you. A perfectly crafted
So
lie.
I guess I'll tell my story. This is kind of a fun story. This is the story of the teddy bear, which is also about Mr. President Teddy Roosevelt and
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Yeah, exactly. And the story is interesting because in the book that is the Colorado, it's literally called Colorado Legend and Lore.
Love it.
Excellent book. But what I found really interesting is in this book, there's an entire story about bears. And one of the bear stories is how the teddy bear came to be. But upon further investigation, I discovered that I think that maybe the legend kind of took a little bit of a like, hey, we're going to take this as our own, but it's not necessarily where the real story is from. And so Colorado has a hotel in which Theodore Roosevelt stayed in, and it is the Colorado Hotel, which
We'll be speaking on.
we'll be speaking about. And the president enjoyed going hunting. He was very outdoorsy. He enjoyed hunting. And so one of these trips that he took, he went to this hotel and then went out and was hunting for bears. Well, he was there for several weeks. He never found a bear. Because he never found a bear, it was kind of like that's kind of sad. He didn't find a bear. And so in this story, it says that someone that was working at the hotel took pity on him. So a hotel maid, fashioned a little toy bear out of rags and offered the stuffed animal to the famed hunter as a consolation prize. And in this story, I'm going to keep reiterating that fact. It says the legend was born when Roosevelt's young daughter embraced the charming toy and joyfully explained that she would call him Teddy Bear, which is interesting.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. However, upon digging a little bit deeper into this,
Usually Dina does this.
Yeah.
Usually Dina ruins the fun facts.
and I think
Okay,
that's
go
why
ahead.
I was like, oh, I got something. This is great.
How does it feel?
And it's good. It's exciting.
It is. It's a good feeling.
It is. It's kind of like a. But
You-
also, then
you
I was
won.
like, wait, what other stories should I dig a little bit deeper into and find? But anyway, this one, because it is actually based on actual things that happened. Not that I'm saying any of the things we talked about didn't happen. This one, the story of the teddy bear is still about Teddy Roosevelt. However, the story that kind of started this legend and created the teddy bear is he went hunting in Glenwood Springs. He came across a bear who was injured. And instead of hunting this bear, he asked for the bear to be put down humanely. And it became like this very big deal because it was kind of like he really enjoyed hunting, but like he came across this animal that obviously was hurt. And instead of taking the animal's life and using this as like a look what I caught and hunted, and he didn't do that. I would assume he probably had these animals, stuff to keep. I don't know much about hunting and why
You're
people
killing the
keep-
game here.
right? So a cartoonist created an image of him with this bear, and it became like a big sensation. And this is what I was really like excited about. The cartoonist, it was a political cartoonist named Clifford Berryman. He published a drawing of this incident, and it's the image of Roosevelt sparing the bear's life. And then soon after this, a Brooklyn candy store owner, Morris Mitchum, and his wife created a stuffed bear in the honor of Roosevelt, calling it Teddy's Bear. And the other thing is they got the president's permission to use that name, like kind of as a ode to the president. And then the name stuck. And so the teddy bear story actually originated from a hunting trip in Mississippi in 1902. The Colorado story took place in 1905. So I think like it had already been something, and that's probably because like why would the maid like make this little stuffed animal? So I think that's where it still played into that whole story, but it wasn't where it actually was created.
I see both.
And
Me too.
Exactly. And that's the kind of thing is like
1902 was origin.
exactly. Exactly. And so that's
cute. I like that
really-
story.
yeah, and like the teddy bear is one of the most beloved toys of all time. That's not
Seriously.
changed.
Yeah.
So, fun fact.
There's a good fun fact. I like that one.
I mean, do you know Colorado means red?
Now I do.
Yes. I told you, that.
know, that feels really appropriate though because of all the
I don't know.
Red?
I didn't have a good transition after teddy bear. I was like, I got nothing. It's derived from the Spanish language. The name was given due to the red silt carried out by the Colorado River.
Well,
fun fact.
Yeah. Let's see. What else could be? Do you like cheeseburgers?
I do.
That's
top
honestly
3 favorite foods.
That one's my fave. And it's kind of like your teddy bear story where it's just like they didn't technically invent the cheeseburger,
Yeah.
but they trademarked the cheeseburger name.
Okay.
March 5th, 1935, Louis Ballast, his Humpty Dumpty restaurant, which was on North Spear Boulevard, it's now a Key Bank, so it's not there anymore.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Natural transition.
But
Duh.
Cheeseburgers to Monday.
this is in Denver. They claim to have invented and trademarked the cheeseburger.
Huh.
Man, I just want to make I'm gonna just start putting things like. Did you guys know that I trademarked the word shoe? 2024 actually.
Shoelaces.
Yes.
Well, we talked about the shape of the state and how wild that is to me.
Yeah.
So do you know you can stand in 4 different states at the same time?
Wait, let me guess. The northern part or southern part of Colorado?
To me, I'm like, well, technically, it can be any corner, right? This focuses on the Southwest. Yeah.
Duh, Amanda, you twat.
But this focuses on the Southwest.
Okay.
So it's
That's fun.
New Mexico?
It is. Hang on, handy dandy, right
New
here.
Mexico's there,
It
right? No?
yes, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado, and they have like a little plaque thing,
And here I was thinking how cool it was that there's a spot by where Dale grew up and where I live, where you can stand in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York.
I love that.
In a cemetery.
You gotta do what you gotta
That's
do.
even better.
Yeah,
You gotta
I
do what you
know.
gotta do.
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well, they in the Four Corners area of the Southwest, archaeologists also found petroglyphs, engravings, pottery, even a loom, hunting tools, things like that, from the Poblanos,
Ooh.
who lived there as far back as 1 to 1300 AD.
Now that's like a time period you can't, as an American, we do not wrap our head around that.
No.
And a perfect example is when I've gone to Ireland, we were sitting in a bar and I had my arm on the bar and the guy was like, the piece of wood that your arm is resting on is older than the United States of America. And I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
We are such a baby country. So when you hear things like that, it's like insanely impressive.
Yeah.
And then it makes you think about what happened there. And then I see the fact that the federal government owns more than a third of Colorado land.
Well, there we are, folks.
And I was like, well, that didn't age well.
That hits.
And we're back.
Colorado was, transition out of that one, the only state in history to turn down the Olympics.
Really? Which one? Summer or winter? Winter, obviously.
1976 Winter Olympics was planned to be held in Denver, and voters chose not to host the Olympics.
Well, to be fair, it's no small undertaking to host the Olympics. You have to go through a lot of changes, and you also have to be able to support a lot of people coming to this place. And, you have to, fix.
Or what are they hiding?
Well, exactly.
Womp, womp, womp.
Hello, skinwalkers.
Or in the airport.
Airport.
Oh,
I'm saying.
The tunnels.
Totally sus, guys.
Also, I do just want to say that, having learned, thanks to social media, the last Olympics, seeing those poor athletes sleeping on cardboard beds. And
those were really bougie beds, okay?
it's just insane to me that's, you think about it, you're right. It's not just, hey, we're going to hold the games here. All of the athletes and their teams have to stay there. And then the families of the athletes. And then the restaurants. Can the infrastructure hold it? Can the roads infrastructures hold it?
They have to build
Parking.
buildings
everything.
just to hold all of these people that are coming.
Wait, isn't New York getting an Olympics, a Winter Olympics soon?
Let's pray that never happens.
No, it is.
Stop
soon.
that.
Someone Google it. It's coming. I have my phone right here. The Winter Olympics in New York is coming.
That's going to
soon.
be – I'm going to leave, I think,
Yeah, I
for
think I'm
that.
going back to North Carolina.
It's
Period
okay.
of
It's
time.
upstate. It's not us. It is Amanda making things up. 2026. Lake Placid was named as a backup location for the
Oh.
Winter Olympics.
I have
but
heard that.
in case that's just in case the bobsled slope in Cortina, Italy is not ready in time.
Oh, darn it.
So I wasn't all the way wrong, but I was mostly wrong. So that's done.
Did you guys like the movie Titanic?
Did
have a
I
heartbeat.
like Leonardo DiCaprio? Yes.
Well, I just love that there was a certain actress in that movie that we talked about in our Louisiana season. Kathy Bates, who played
The unsinkable Molly Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that.
So in historic Denver, there was a Victorian mansion on Capitol Hill that was supposedly owned by not supposedly, it was owned by the unsinkable Molly Brown from 1894 to 1932.
That's incredible.
She just keeps playing these people that own these incredible mansions.
Yes.
Too bad one of them was a horrific person. The other one is
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Unsinkable Molly Brown. There's a movie, an old movie. It's like a musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's really,
Would you like to
it's really cute.
give us
Whenever
a
you're ready,
little
just
teaser?
like a bar, one or
It's
two.
like the story of her life, and it's a mining story because she like finds gold in the mines.
That's great. We just want to hear the song, if you could.
Beautiful people of Denver.
Beautiful people of Denver.
Like Cinderella said after the ball, dress me up, but you can't take me out. Smooth those rough edges till there's no trace. Noon till night, practicing poise and grace.
I don't know any of the songs.
They call
I
her
watched-
a sassy Denverite.
Yeah,
I want to be a sassy.
She's
Denverite.
kind of like she's kind of like a badass in the in
She's
the movie
badass.
either.
Yeah.
Like, it's not played by Kathy Bates, but her
It
as a
is now
person,
in my head.
real life person, she's a pretty cool person.
Yeah. Well, that's why unsinkable, right? Like
Yeah.
she was tough as
The
nails.
movie was called The Unsinkable Molly Brown.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they do tours of the house, so still stands. That one I thought was cool because I was just like another
Yeah.
Guys, how are we going
connection
tie
to a
this
former
Outlander,
season.
though?
I know it's been hard. Not something that I can tie to Outlander, but Rocky Ford is the melon capital of the world.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry. We just bring that back to the beginning there. What capital?
Melon,
Melon.
yes,
I heard
Like the-
milling.
like the fruit.
Okay. What?
Yeah, in the Arkansas Valley, Rocky Ford has been dubbed the melon capital of the world.
Can they grow melons?
Apparently, and their high school mascot is the Meloneer.
Now that's unfortunate.
Yes.
Coming from someone who grew up a lady bushman, we were the Bushmen, the mighty Bushmen.
Got it.
He was a caveman.
I was gonna say, was he like a
He was a
mountain
caveman.
man?
And then they were like, shit. What are the
Well-
women going to be? Lady Bushmen? Are you kidding me? What is this? Just a melon head?
Yeah. Well, having got my master's from UNC Charlotte, we were the 49ers. We were the coal miners.
Huh?
Yeah, but that makes sense. This is a piece of melon. Does it have arms and feet?
I guess so.
But I'm stuck
And
on
what
the
kind of
melon.
melon?
What kind of melon are they growing in
Water,
Colorado?
cantaloupe?
No, like the greenish ones that you get in the
Honeydew?
That one, yeah. That's what I saw in the picture, and I was like, oh, I don't like
But
that.
how?
I don't know.
I mean,
That feels tropical.
to be fair, I don't know how melons are.
I-
Aren't they on the ground?
I just
Watermelons are
I love
like
that
pumpkins.
this is the fact that has caused the
Now-
most.
I can't figure this out.
The most
So they
disgusting.
grow out of the ground. A melon
They're
grows out of-
vines, like pumpkins. Melons are pumpkin
Oh, yes, no, that's
vine-y.
correct. I've seen watermelon
Yeah,
vines.
but I don't know about cantaloupe and honeydew. I don't know how they grow. I've never seen them in the wild.
If you type in melon capital of the world to Google right now, it will immediately come up Rocky Ford, Colorado.
yeah,
I need to know more about
So
melons.
fields of honeydew is what you would see if you went. To
It
this.
also says watermelon.
Oh,
We're
okay.
expanding now.
Okay.
Just all melons.
Just melons.
I mean, it
Someone-
did just say melon.
Was someone a melon enthusiast many a year ago and was like, I'm going to fortify the shit out of this soil so a melon can grow?
I mean, I can imagine that the soil there is very, very bountiful. Like, think about it.
Maybe what I didn't see,
Right.
maybe it was never honeydew. Maybe I just I saw green, and I just thought that's where my brain
Yellow,
went.
yeah. Fair.
talk to me more about these melons. What is the mascot?
Oh no, cantaloupe and watermelon.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Home to farmers markets and roadside melon stands.
And they
I
are
mean-
grown in the ground, correct? They come from the ground?
To me,
Vines?
there is nothing more
Am I wrong?
delicious than a ripe. This is going to
Did
sound
I make
so.
this up?
I'm on it.
If anyone reads smut books,
Sprawling vines.
Perfect.
sprawling vines. Okay,
That's right.
if anyone reads smut, as the three of us do, the honeydew thing from Blood and Ash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten there yet. Haven't gotten there yet.
Oh.
Haven't gotten there yet.
There we are. So okay,
All right. Melons.
that blew my
Great.
mind. Keep going.
Great.
Okay. I love that one like really got us.
Really
that was
messed
like
me up.
I'm trying to stick to the non-creepy ones. I only have a few.
No, give us creeps if you want.
I will in just like I have two more non-creepy ones.
Okay.
One I thought was cool is that Colorado is nicknamed the Centennial State.
Oh,
The state entered into statehood, which I believe you brought up in one of your stories in 1876, which was on the 100th anniversary of U.S. independence. It was the 38th state of America, and it's the 8th largest state in terms of landmass. So I was like, that's the most geography I've ever learned in this country.
I honestly can say that on a map, I can probably identify 7 states. Colorado being one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fair.
Well, now. And bringing it back to Pikes Peak, America the Beautiful was written there.
America.
Mhm. It was inspired by
Oh, God.
it was written by Catherine Lee Bates, and it was inspired by...
Kathy Bates again?
Yeah, I know.
What can't she do? My God, she was on the Titanic? She's incredible.
Inspired by the views she saw from Pikes Peak. So,
Obviously, she just sailed the Titanic there.
yeah.
That's incredible.
Down Melon River.
Now let's switch it over to
I'm
this
excited.
spooky, creepy stuff. I have to read this. I did not coin this question. I definitely found it online, and I have to read it. Ready?
Yes.
What do the Boston Marathon bomber, the Unabomber, and the Oklahoma City bomber have in common?
They all were from Colorado.
No.
Oh.
But you're on the right track.
They all like melons.
It says, aside from all being crazy murderers.
Oh.
My guess was the melons, but
They all reside at Administrative Maximum Facility in Florence. They are all literally in the
doesn't
same
seem like the best idea.
maximum security prison in Colorado.
Wow.
I don't think they're all alive.
Well-
Oh, no, they probably are.
I feel like it's probably pretty safe there because if it's like in the middle of nowhere, they'd probably die in the wilderness if they ever got out.
That's terrifying to think about.
That is very
That they're all under the same roof.
I
and
don't
could
love that.
possibly have a
Is
conversation.
it like a
with each other.
maximum security facility?
Scariest maximum security prison? It houses some of the world's worst criminals in recent history.
Hard pass on that field trip.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So that one's like a real scary.
Way to really bring us down.
Yeah. Fuck your melons.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. Some have succeeded. I'll tell you. If you're my fiance and you're listening to this, you know why.
Well, we did talk about the fact that the gates of hell are there.
Yeah.
So that also makes sense. Put the scariest humans
Oh, you're right. That does that.
near the gates of hell. 'Cause
Fair.
You don't have far to cross over.
Yeah.
So you brought that up on Riverdale Road, which honestly, it kind of reminds me of that highway that you just were bringing up. But it's just, there's so many weird instances that have happened that brought me back to our first season when we talked about Buckout Road, you know, and just these deranged people that says that there was a man murdering his wife and children by setting their mansion on fire. There were slave lynching. There was apparently chicken coops where witches and cult groups would gather. Apparently a chicken coop is home base. I don't know.
Wait.
I'm obsessed with the occult.
that just
and
made
we
me-
need to do cult episodes.
This is a Colorado fun fact. You just saying chickens made me think of this. So there's an honorary chicken statue in Colorado.
Naturally.
And also a dog who like rescued
golden retriever?
people from being killed. Like,
Aw,
yeah. It's like a big deal. Let me see if I can find this story. You can continue doing your facts. To the point of the chicken was in Ripley's Believe It or Not book.
Dear Lord.
What did the chicken do? Melons?
Well, he didn't die.
Oh, well.
Still alive? Not at the prison.
He's actually one of the guards.
Well, the whole thing starts with throughout Colorado, you will find statues and monuments honoring the dearly departed. Some of these shrines and tombstones are very elaborate. Obviously, a few old timers spent a pretty penny making the memory of their loved ones. Cripple Creek Sally is one of the.
What?
That's one. Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay.
There it is.
Okay, this is the story. The crazy story goes that in 1946, a farmer in Fruta planned on eating one of his yard birds for Sunday supper. But when Mr. Olson chopped off the rooster's noggin, a portion of his brain stem remained intact and the bird lived. The frazzled farmer christened the amazing wonder, Mike the Headless Chicken. And then the dynamic duo hit the road with a crazy stage act. act. The funky chicken dazzled peeps all across the country, making Mr. Olson a lot of chicken feed before he was finally taken by the grim peeper 2 years later. Mike was memorialized with a bronzed statue of his likeness that still stands in Fruta, a bit headless.
I love that.
I
I like that his name was Mike.
don't love it. I mean, like, I always love when animals have like a
The
human
chicken
name.
Yeah.
stem cell wasn't completely
Brain
cut.
stem.
Brain stem cell.
Oh
no.
That actually reminds me of how I forgot to tie in the
yes,
head,
the head.
the head
Yes.
of the axe
There you
man.
go. You're welcome.
Which,
There's the head.
I mean, not completely. I mean, it was, the axe was in his head, blah, blah, blah. But we were talking about the fact that someone's head was put in a jar, right?
Mummified head.
The mummified head.
Cannibal. The cannibal.
Right.
Cannibal's
So
head.
when that led me to the Axemen story, and I had mentioned the Espinosa gang.
yes.
It was to cap off the end of that, that the leader of that gang was they eventually found them all. And he was killed, and I don't even know why they had to do this, but they beheaded his corpse
Oh.
and pickled his head in a jar and sent it to the capital.
Pickled it with seasonings?
That's-
Spices?
Was literally
Pickled.
what
Like
was written.
vinegar and-
pickled.
Great.
So that's what led me into that. And then I was like, oh, I totally left that out of the story.
I mean, like, here's is that what you call it when you put like the body parts in a jar? Isn't it just you preserve them?
Preserving them, yeah.
Pickling it. What
That
verbiage?
sounds very.
What verbiage?
That's different.
Just a bunch of vinegar, salt, and sugar, and they're like, oh, God, I guess we'll put seasoning in there.
Also, a lot of times, and I don't know why I know this information, a lot of times when they do something like that, like with animals, they take the eyeballs out and they go in a different jar.
Why?
Guys, so Dale had a weird childhood. No, I'm just kidding.
I just still don't understand why they had to ship his head to the capital like that.
Maybe it was like a.
Why mummify the head? Like, what were the purpose? What was the purpose of these?
Maybe it's something to do with like soul stuff.
I mean, in all of our books, right, to show that somebody is dead, you usually show the head.
Yes, that's very true.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, is it
Like proof
Are you
that
thinking
they're
Throne
actually
of Glass
dead?
where she walks in with the head in her hand? Oh, my God. What a badass moment.
Yeah.
I so was.
Okay.
But creepy fun fact, and I do mean fun and creepy in
We
the
like
same
it. We love
sentence,
it.
is the vampire of Lafayette,
Yes.
in Lafayette,
yes.
Colorado.
Yes.
which wasn't
Yes.
creepy enough to bring up in the episode, but we all somehow stumbled across him
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. But it was such an interesting story. Like, I think he has his own fan base now.
That makes sense.
What's his years?
Okay,
Talk to me about
so
years.
he's in the old municipal cemetery of Lafayette, and the grave is labeled like the name is there. It's Theodore Todor, like Todor, Glava. Okay, he is a minor, allegedly from Eastern Europe, who died during the influenza pandemic of 1918.
Okay.
Okay, which I'm like, okay, this checks out, right?
All adds up.
And a labeled grave, so people knew who he was. But the way this myth began was the reputation of being that of a vampire over the years due to the gravestone's mention of Transylvania. That apparently maybe like that was where he was from, or the region in Romania had somehow like triggered, people thinking of like Vlad the Impaler, Count Dracula, and they kind of just associated it with him. It's straight up ignorance. It's just straight up ignorance. It's just like, oh my God, you're from Transylvania. You must be
You're
a
a
vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I wanted him to be the person draining all the animals. People thinking he was a chupacabra.
Well, in the center of the grave, a Jupiter tree had sprouted, which that's a little
Strange.
how. Yeah. So the legend attributes this to the stake, which was driven through Glava's heart when local townspeople exhumed the body and found blood near the mouth, and that the nails were still growing, even though we now know that this is part of the natural decaying process, right?
Right.
Apparently in 1918, they did
Hair
not
and
know.
nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So People have allegedly seen a shadowy figure thought to be Glava that can be spotted around the cemetery at night. Skeptics would say he's an unfortunate victim of xenophobia and vampire hysteria around the pandemic time period, though. It is more than likely that he died from influenza,
Right.
And then, unfortunately, a vampire epidemic.
We like that story.
Well, my favorite was I had found somebody who allegedly had met him, and they were like, the vampire was like, "Do you want to take a picture?" And I was like, "Well, he's posing."
I can't say anything because you guys remember when I was explaining Count Saint Germain?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it was a very attractive man. And then we showed a picture of him and he's like a mousy little turd bomber. And people are like, yo, this girl's what she thinks is attractive for the time. I'm not saying I would hit it, guys. Okay. I don't just put that on record.
I don't think I have a picture of it.
Okay.
So I can't give you one of what's his name? What is it? Todor?
Todor, yeah.
Todor, hold it.
Theodore.
Yeah. So
Theodore.
that one is just, it makes me sad for people. I'm
Me
like,
too.
why did you just what was going on in your head?
They just really wanted it to be vampires.
Can I tell you something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I almost forgot to bring it up?
Yeah.
In my research,
This is what this is for.
yeah, on Reddit, I was like, let me see if there's any real life Colorado spooky stories and
Yeah.
Reddit things, right? And some of them are just like creepypasta, right? I found this incredible YouTube channel and I just want to tell you guys the name of it. It's called Ghost Hunty TV. Hunty.
Okay.
And it is it's like these, I think it's like 3 or 4. I'm not sure how many there are, but they're drag queens and they go to all of the haunted locations in Colorado.
Stop.
And I watched like 10 of their videos and they are incredible. So I really, if you guys want to just giggle while they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Highly recommend. Has nothing to do
Little
with
plug.
anything.
Little
Yes.
plug.
But the vampire thing just jiggled my memory.
Did you know that Denver has a real life Spider-Man story?
Yes, I did. Because of another true crime podcast.
Yeah?
The guy in the attic, right?
It appears so. Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so this is in 1941.
This is creepy. This is like real creepy.
Mm-hmm. This is 1941. It's this elderly man that was found savagely beaten to death in his own home. Cuddle up, kids.
Horrific.
Cuddle up, kids. The neighbors who went looking for the man after he didn't show up for a dinner party found him there. They determined, they called the police. His name was Philip Peters, and he died from a skull fracture, but nobody could find a motive or any suspects in the case. Peters' wife was in the hospital during the time of the murder. So we can't blame the wife, okay? So
They want to.
Yeah.
you immediately do. I immediately will go toward
Yeah.
It's always the
one
husband.
of your husbands
Yeah.
or boyfriend. I'm always like, they did it.
They did it.
Yeah. So tons of people, detectives were assigned to this case. It's going on for like 9 months. They're completely stumped. He had no enemies, but he was beaten so badly that there were even blood stains found on the ceiling of different rooms throughout his home.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like a year later and they get their first lead, which I'm also still like, well, where's the wife? Anyway, she could have hired someone. All right. And then I read, a woman hired. I was like, I knew it. A woman hired to help with household duties had been hearing strange noises for weeks. One day, she saw a hallway door slowly open, followed by a thin white hand. The woman screamed and heard someone running away. Detectives investigated the home but found nothing. Had it not been for a lucky break later that month, Peter's tragic murder might not ever have been solved. Tasked with keeping watch for a ghost, quote unquote, 2 policemen visited the house on July 30th and heard noises upstairs. After opening a door, one of the policemen saw a dangling pair of legs get pulled up into the house's attic. So this is like frogging, right? Isn't that what they call it? Frogging before frogging, which is honestly the scariest thing in the world.
Truly the scariest
Yeah.
thing ever.
I actually just got home from a trip yesterday and immediately checked all my closets. It was the first thing I did.
Especially, well, I mean, you have like it's almost like a townhome almost the way that your house is. But like I always think apartments with air ducts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where a lot of them hide and they wait for you to sleep and then they just like pop
Yeah.
the vent out.
Yeah.
Eat your snacks.
It's like the people living in like the back rooms in apartments that have like a door into a door and the door just leads to nothing.
Mhm.
And then they realize like, wait, there's a sleeping bag in there. And they've been living there for months and hearing noises, but just kind of chalked it up to be
Housing
like the
crisis,
neighbors.
Yeah. Well, they said this was the strangest looking human being they'd ever seen. The man's skin was the color of gray overcast sky that hung on a rail-thin frame. He was 59 years old, and his name was Theodore Conies, and he had been living in the Peters' attic, which he accessed through an unlocked panel of the home's crawl space. He had been introduced to the Peters as a boy, moved into the attic, and off the Denver streets when the winter of 1941 became too cold for him to live outside. So the space was 27 inches high, 57 inches wide, and I don't know why he did it, but he bludgeoned this man to death.
Probably because he got caught. Like,
Maybe.
it's really sad because a lot of these stories are always like unhoused people who just
That's terrifying.
probably mentally unwell as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
God, it's so scary though.
That one gets me.
But why Spider-Man?
Because he climbed like,
Because he's like in the attic.
yeah, probably.
And
'cause
he's like
climbed
lanky.
and like, you know.
I guess so.
Like,
You guys can't see me, but I'm doing really.
I definitely
good
thought it was going to
moves.
be like they found a body and he was just covered in spiders. With spider webs inside
disgusting.
him. That's where I thought the story was going.
I'm not even afraid of spiders, but that's disgusting.
You know, like the urban legends that like where the spider lays eggs in your ear when you're sleeping.
One of my biggest fears, and I'm not afraid of spiders.
I'm not afraid of them, but I don't like them.
But that
I don't kill them. I
concept,
save them and I bring
like
them up.
crawling into your, and then they go to
Here.
the doctor and like there's spiders
I don't like that.
in their brain.
Well, I just look at it as if I was on one of those TV shows, you know, like a Fear Factor kind of
Mhm. Yeah.
situation, which I always felt like I would be really good on one of those shows. But the moment you put a scorpion on me or like put me in a tank with like snakes or insects or anything like that, I'm done. I am done. Like it's not so much like it itself. Like if you're across the room from me, I can look at you. I don't want you anywhere near me, but now you're touching me. You are physically on me and you feel all the little no.
I
Next.
have an irrational fear of scorpions, not spiders, not snakes. I'm
Because
fine
you
with
see them
them.
so often?
And it's hilarious because in my life, I've been near one 0 times.
Just making sure.
So, it's like that in quicksand.
In
I feel like elementary school, they really
Did you see those
drilled it
memes?
home
Yeah.
for us. And
those
I
like
just,
cartoons that are just like they gave you an irrational
I
fear.
literally, I feel like I can fight my way through quicksand better than anyone in the world because of the 90s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my brother lives in Texas, and one of the things that they have to always check before they put their shoes on
Oh,
is for
God.
scorpions.
In your
And-
bed, right?
Not so much the bed, but like bathrooms because they come up through the drain, and then shoes
I'm
because they
sorry.
come in under the door.
That's why Australia may be a beautiful place.
I'd never
Again,
go.
I am not.
Never
but when
go.
you are raining
No.
the spiders are the size of 6-year-olds.
No,
And snakes come out of the toilet and bite my lady sandwich.
no. Did you see the video of the woman who wakes up in the middle of the night and there is a giant spider above her head in Australia?
I don't want to.
Australia.
I don't even
And
like
she
talking about that place.
she
No
s-
offense, people from Australia. I think you're all lovely and I love your accent, but I cannot. You are the bravest humans.
But she scoops it into a cup and
Stop
lets it go.
That's what I would do too, though.
The outback is real.
If you saw the size of the spider,
No, the huntsman spiders are like the size of these lights.
Please stop.
I mean, to be
Surprise,
fair,
Dina, bring it in.
growing up in the woods,
Yeah.
we had huge wolf
The wolf
spiders.
spiders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they bite.
And you know, like we grew up with spiders, but it doesn't make me like spiders.
No.
I don't like them.
I can't.
It'd
kill them.
always be
We have
my-
a spider
That's like
cup.
saying here that I live in the city, but so now I like rats. No.
But I'm not afraid of rats.
I have a real problem. I'm going to die by being bit by something awful, guys. I can't kill or hurt
"They're
anything.
so cute.
Rats carry the plague.
I mean, rats are gross. Totally gross.
I want to know.
My nephew had a pet rat, and he was so cute. He's white and brown and
Please stop.
fuzzy.
No.
And yeah, he was
You're voted
so
off
sweet.
the podcast now.
He
Goodbye.
just passed away.
Is there an eject button?
My
We have a
heart.
new table. There's got to be one.
No rats allowed.
Okay, I'm changing this story.
Okay.
Next. This one's a good one, though. And it ends us on a light note.
Okay, great.
Okay. So if you're a person living back in the late 19th century,
Which we are, obviously. Yeah.
It
we're
feels like
old.
that.
We're that old. Tuberculosis, major concern, right?
That feels strangely like the world we're living in today.
You're really hitting it home for us.
I really thought you were going to say Outlander, and I was like, yeah, we could bring it full circle.
Or Outlander.
Yeah.
Outlander. Yay.
True.
So the disease coming through, killing scores of healthy people indiscriminately, right? And one such woman named Emma Crawford, who is a promising young musician from Massachusetts, happens to be in the Red Mountain area, which is in, it says she moved out west with her family to Manitou Springs in the desperate hope that the mountain air and natural mineral springs would cure her, which I've heard in several stories has now been the case of people coming out to that area.
The Tuck Everlasting effect. Yes.
So she's this musician. She dazzles listeners playing the piano, right? All the things are going well for her. She was even well enough at one point to climb to the top of Red Mountain, which I don't exactly know where that is. I need to reference my map. Okay. A spot she'd later request to be buried at out of a fear of the horror of cemeteries, formalities, and anything low or gloomy, and even death. So apparently she, not a fan, wanted to be buried on this mountain. But she tragically came to her illness in the winter of 1891, and a group of 12 pallbearers carried her casket to the top of Red Mountain and buried her there.
Okay.
So
She said we were ending on a lighter note, right?
Yeah.
She said that? Okay.
yes. So fast forward 4 decades. Okay. 4 decades. This is now 1940. Okay.
What a year.
Just for those of you mathing. Okay. 2 local boys discovered a human skull on the side of Red Mountain. Okay. And Crawford's coffin and other body parts were soon discovered. Some say a severe rainstorm washed up the coffin and sent it tumbling down the mountain, which I can definitely see that. I mean, after everything that just happened, unfortunately, with the tornadoes and things like that, and
And the flooding in Kentucky this week.
and I was particularly thinking about Asheville, in North Carolina. I was just like, oh my God, I've always, wondered about this during times with so much landslides, like things like that,
like
right?
erosion stuff.
What would happen to anyone buried in these areas, right? So they say it could have been the severe rainstorm that washed up the coffin and sent it tumbling down the mountain. A memorial stone now marks the spot where Crawford was originally buried, but her remains now rest in an unmarked grave. And even though this might seem a little, what's the word? Macabre, right? The city of Manitou Springs now holds coffin races in honor of what happened to Crawford.
Now,
And when I say this looks so much fun,
it does look fun, but where are we sourcing coffins in the redneck upbringing I've had? Quite expensive.
Yeah.
Are you building your own vessel?
it almost looks like a Pittsco car kind of situation.
Okay. Yes. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. So it says it's a pretty bizarre way to honor a poor dead girl, if you ask me, based on this person who wrote this.
I can't imagine she would like that very much.
And this person agrees, says no wonder the ghost is still set to haunt the town where she died.
I thought you were going to tell us that like slide rock hooker fish just
Yeah.
you're out.
No, I kind of like this. I mean, that is kind of.
It's pretty
kind of
unique.
dark. Have you ever?
Now
gotten
that you guys
into
are
a
all
coffin
here,
before?
now that everyone's here, let's just announce the first Folktown coffin race
Yeah.
in Brooklyn.
Yes. That's great.
Have you guys ever been inside a coffin?
No.
Can't say. Like a pretend one, like a Halloween decoration. Like you go into and you pretend like you're dead.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be like a real.
No.
Oh, yeah. That. Then yes.
Yeah, I've laid down on one at a haunted house,
Yeah.
and
But that's
a friend closed it. Well, I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, this looks like you're just with like 4 of your friends, like someone. It's like a bobsled.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Olympics,
Mm.
okay.
And we're back.
It kind of reminded me of Wednesday.
Oh,
yeah.
there.
Okay.
I like it.
I
Okay.
love it.
Right.
Yeah, because I'll show you. Like, look, they're all like dressed together.
You know what okay.
I mean, I
Well,
think we need to put this one up on the socials because whoever this group is, like,
I want to have a
major
beer with
shout.
that.
They look like dead people.
it does not say who you are, but we're gonna put it up and just
It's a fun image.
Major shout out to you because I don't know what you're wearing or who is in there, but that person in there looks like they are having the time of their life.
Because they're on
the
edibles.
time of their afterlife.
They look like they're
Oh,
dead.
thank
like
you.
their makeup is.
Oh my.
Oh my word.
I'm getting so excited. I also want to know, like, the guy in the background, like, is he on somebody's shoulders? Because how is that possible?
That's the Yeti. He's come down from the mountain.
Or he has stilts on because he was just at the, Doll Rock.
The Doll Rock.
Trying to find the gold.
Anyway, so those were some of my fun facts that I
like
that I
that.
found the most interesting.
Yes. I'm a fan of what just happened here.
Yeah. I mean,
Samesies.
it is nice to end with a laugh, like some of this stuff is super dark,
You don't say.
You don't say.
Well, on that note. But I do just want to say we want to do more bonus episodes. So you guys send us your stories.
Yeah, we'd love to read stories.
Yes, for sure.
First-hand accounts, please.
First-hand accounts.
We want the primary source. Tag us in your TikToks. Tag us in your Reels.
Yeah.
We will watch it, and I
Yeah.
will dissect the poop out of it.
And also, it doesn't have to be just Colorado. Like, we're open to anything, anywhere. Just tell us your
Every
stories.
of the places.
All the spooky, creepy things.
Yeah, we're thinking about where to travel next.
That's another good thing. Tell us what you guys want us to do next.
I was really, I've been thinking about these like flyover states, right? As they call them. And I'm like, you know what? I think there's so much untapped. I don't even know what the word is. Just there's stuff going on, guys,
Yeah.
that like we don't even understand.
Nope.
Yep.
But maybe that's the way it's supposed to
We're
be.
going to, exactly.
That's true. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We will be back
Soon.
soon. Yeah, with another episode.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Our producer is Grace Heerman. Editing by our head of audio, Katie Yonner. Our video editor is Kyle Bosch. Dale Watts is our marketing director. Our supervising producer is me, Amanda Johnson. Lizbeth Henriquez is our technical producer. Hasna Indal is our production assistant. Our network coordinator is Ivy Suiman. Tommy West is our executive producer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Watch It or Read It. Watch It or Read It is a production of Gotham West Studios.